Did you know that according to ChainSpec, in 2026, the internet computer saw 791 active developers? Wow. That's quite legendary in my opinion. Now, does it mean it's top 10 when it comes to this space? Absolutely not. It still loses out to the bigger players out there, like Solana, for instance, which has well over, 10,000 active developers in 2026, and Ethereum with over 11,000. But you know what? Given how the Internet Computer isn't even a top 10 or not even a top 20 or 30 project, it's pretty impressive still seeing those type of figures because the Internet Computer actually had so many active developers in 2026, according to ChainSpec. It's at the point that allegedly it has overtaken something like Stellar. I'm not joking. And also something like Chronos. So yeah, I mean, even something like Tezos, surprisingly, because Stellar was having this, I guess, metric, right? This statistic of 727, and then Chronos was 662, Tezos was 574, and then, the Internet Computer 791. So I thought that was quite legendary. Now, I first want to clarify though, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. Nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my personal perspective. But I think these are the things that go far beyond the price charts, right? Because to see that many active developers, could you imagine the time, effort, and energy that they put in order to even do that? This is in 2026, keep in mind. A lot of developers are leaving. They don't really want to enter, generally speaking. But we're seeing that when it comes to the Internet Computer, which I think showcases that, yes, a lot of people have left, a lot of people have ignored this, but there are some developers out there that might see something there fundamentally that might make them want to build, or not. Why would they want to be developing, on their own computer? It seems like. Now, keep in mind, people like to tell me, but again, what is this? Like, the internet computer only 791. But if we think about just that feat of achievement, right? That achievement in and of itself is quite impressive for a project that's only ranked 47th when it comes to this space. Now, the reason why I say only is not to say that this is low or anything. Actually being ranked 47th is quite impressive. It's top 50 when it comes to this space, right? Literally, again, top 50. Now, again, the reason why I said only is because for a project that's ranked like this, being able to see 791 active developers in 2026, according to ChainSpec, is pretty impressive given the ranking. Because had the Internet Computer been ranked like top 20 or top 30, then these numbers start looking a little bit more reasonable, like a lot more logical, right? But this is not a top 20 or not top 30, not even top 40 in terms of a project within this space in terms of market cap. But seeing that right there makes me say, wow, with only that ranking, it's able to achieve that. Like, that's what I meant, right? So I think this kind of showcases that it's kind of doing things that we don't really expect. So when people like to tell me, well, the Internet Computer, it's only around $2.20, so it basically hasn't done much ever since my last video. Yeah, no surprise there. The market is kind of stagnating and not doing good. But at the same time, there is some developers who may be overlooking the price and maybe taking a look at the fundamentals. That's the thing. And this is key, in my opinion, because a lot of these developers, if they do build on a certain project, right, or at a certain place, what happens if for whatever reason what they build gains traction, automatically in some hypothetical cases whatever they build on starts to go along with the ride again if what they build on there gains traction, right? It's only kind of logical. It's like, for instance, let's say there is a specific city or a specific town, and let's say for whatever reason a large company builds like a very massive development there, and if that development becomes really popular and very massive, it kind of brings that city and that town along with the ride. So it's kind of no different. Right now, the Internet Computer feels like an empty plot of land. And these developers are trying to build things, they're trying to build, right? But there needs to be the occupants. There needs to be the individuals that care about what's being built. That won't really be there unless there is a change in market sentiment and unless the market were to recover. But that's contingent on the market recovering, which we have not seen as of right now. So when people like to say, well, this is a flop, there's 791 active developers in 2026. Nothing much has happened in 2026. If anything, the price is like just hovering around $2, like around $2, right? Like, this is not that impressive. But again, the buildings are being built, but the consumer base isn't really there. But it doesn't mean that what's being built becomes useless, because what happens if there is, the customers that want to care about that building in just a pure hypothetical. Then it starts to matter a lot. It may not matter right now, but it could matter maybe later. It's like, for instance, let's say I buy a kayak. Am I going to go kayaking every day? No, right? But I mean, in case I do, then it comes in handy. That's the way to take a look at it. It's kind of no different here in my perspective. I mean, yeah, okay, the kayaks are being delivered, but there's no place to kayak yet. That's just kind of the analogy that I have when it comes to this space. It's like, developers, they're caring about the internet computer, but the altcoin season, it's not there. The market sentiment hasn't changed yet, so this type of stuff won't matter. But maybe it could hypothetically if the market were to recover. So yeah, I just found it quite interesting. But again, in terms of the price, not really much that could be said there. It's still around 4 times away than its, I guess, peak in November, if I even want to put it that way, because back in November it was at around $9. November of last year, of course, right? So yeah, I mean, we're still around 4 times away when it comes to that. Nothing much has really changed. And again, before people like to tell me, well, November is this impossible task. Well, not necessarily. I mean, we literally saw it again back in November, and the internet computer was at around, what, $20 in 2024? So $9 is not even that good, actually. But because we're so low compared to that, it's around 4 times away as of right now, which sounds quite ridiculous as to how low this is. It seems like, at least. But you know what? I don't mind the hypothetical dip, so to speak. I'm only doing this once a month, like in terms of dollar cost averaging. But that's just personally what I'm doing. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. No, this is just personally what I'm doing. But again, I don't really know what I have to complain about fundamentally. And clearly, if I'm seeing almost 1,000, basically, right, active developers on the internet computer in 2026, according to ChainSpec, I'm not going to complain about that. I think it's actually quite impressive given at a time like right now when people just don't really care about the market. A lot of developers, it seems like they might still somewhat care about the internet computer. So if the numbers look like that as of right now, imagine what the numbers would look like if the market truly were to recover. Because again, like I mentioned before, developers are leaving. They're not entering for the most part as of right now. So given at a time like 2026, 791 active developers on the internet computer, imagine what the numbers would look like if the market really were to recover. Would there be 2,000 active developers? Would there be 3,000, 4,000? Wouldn't surprise me, especially if we're seeing these numbers as of right now. So yeah, that's just some food for thought, at least personally for me. But I'll be sure to, continue on to update my journey and talk about what I'm doing along the way and whatever goes on when it comes to the computer. So I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a very happy, wonderful, and amazing day. It's Malia the Captain, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one.